Good morning, friends. Today we are going to continue with our chapter number 6, that is tissues. In the previous lecture, we saw unicellular and multicellular organisms. The unicellular organisms perform all the metabolic activities by one cell itself. In multicellular organisms, the cells are grouped to perform specialized functions. These group of cells are called tissues. So we guessed in the last lecture we studied about plant tissues, and we also differentiated between plant tissues and animal tissues. So have you observed the plants lately? The soft growing parts of the plant, the flowers, the seeds. So the tissue of the flower is soft, the tissues of the seed are hard. So they are made up of different types of tissues. So plant there are two tissues mainly, meristematic tissue which has got the ability to divide, and permanent tissue which loses the ability to divide. The permanent tissues are also of two types, simple permanent tissue and complex permanent tissue. In the simple permanent tissue we have parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma, and that is the supportive tissue. And for the protective tissue we have the cork and the epidermis. Now, in today's lecture, we are going to continue with the plant tissue, but this time we are going to look at the complex tissue. Simple, what does simple tissue mean? Simple tissues are those tissues which are made up of only one type of cells. Now, complex tissues are made up of more than one type of cell, but still all these cells coordinate to perform a common function. So even they are made of different types of cell, they make a structure, common structure, and perform a common function. Xylem and phloem in plants are the examples of the complex tissue. So xylem we have, and we have the phloem, the very important structures made up of different types of cells. Together, the xylem and phloem is called the vascular bundle. So vascular or conductive. Conductive tissue means one which conducts. Conducts means carries things from one place to another. So for their survival it is very important that the materials are transferred from one part of the plant to the other. So xylem and phloem are called complex tissues because they are not made of the same kind of cells. They perform some higher functions, and for that higher functions they need different types of cells. But these different types of cells group together to form a structure called a tissue, but it is complex because it is made up of different types of cells. So first we study the xylem. Xylem consists of tracheids. There are some cells which are called tracheids. So you can see in the picture what a tracheid is. It is spindle shaped, broad in the center and pointed at the both the ends. So this is a tracheid. So this is a special cell called a tracheid which has got pits. You can see this, there are pits in the tracheid. So this is a tracheid. The other cells are called vessels. So this is a vessel, you can see it is hollow inside. It's like a tube, it's a vessel. Then we have the xylem parenchyma. So parenchyma was a simple tissue, but this is xylem parenchyma. The parenchyma is the xylem. Here also they have got made up of cells. The parenchyma have got a nucleus and the cytoplasm. And we have got the xylem fibers. Fibers are long thread-like structures. So the xylem, the tissue we are talking about, have got four type of different cells: the tracheids, the vessels, the xylem parenchyma, and xylem fibers. Now what we see here, the cells have thick walls, okay, and many of the cells are dead cells. So they have got thick walls and they are dead cells. Now these tracheids and vessels, these two, are tubular structures, means in the form of tubes. So because they are in the form of the tubes, it is helpful to transport water and minerals vertically. They are tubes. Now vertically means water is absorbed by the root of the plant and the minerals are also absorbed by the roots which are dissolved in the water. So roots which are absorbing the water and minerals, that water has to be now carried to the leaves. So xylem is the tissue or the bundle, vascular bundle, which carries the water from the root to the leaves. And for these special functions, there are special tissues made up of the special kind of cells. So, these tubular structures transport water and minerals vertically. The xylem parenchyma. The parenchyma has the function of storing food. So, why the food has to be stored here? Because xylem, to carry water from the roots to the leaves against gravity, work has to be done and work will need energy. So the xylem parenchyma stores food and helps in the sideways conduction of water. Sideways conduction means it can lose water sideways also. So the xylem bundle is mainly designed. You can see the different types of cells, the tubular structures. The xylem vessels are specially designed to carry water and minerals from the root to the leaves. And the last we did was the xylem fibers, and it is given the fibers are mainly supportive in function. They support the tissue, help it to stand straight. So again we have the tracheids and the vessels are tubular for the transport. The parenchyma stores the food and helps in sideways conduction of water. Fibers are mainly supportive in function. So the xylem tissue is called a complex tissue. It is called permanent because it does not divide, but it is called a complex tissue because it is made up of different types of cells. Because it performs a complex function carrying water and minerals from the root to the leaves. And the next tissue is the phloem tissue. Phloem is also made up of four types of elements. There are sieve tubes, which are shown in the picture here. These are the tube. This is a sieve tube. Yes, the sieve tube. Then they have got companion cells. Fixed with the sieve tubes are the companion cells. So companion cells go along with the sieve tube. Then there are phloem fibers again for support, and there is phloem parenchyma also. So there is a parenchyma called the xylem parenchyma, and there is also the phloem parenchyma. So this is the phloem. Now what are sieve tubes? Sieve tubes are tubular cells with perforated walls. So how the sieve tubes are made? Sieve tubes are made by sieve cells. So the tubular cells, yes, fixed one with the other. They are fixed one with the other, these tubular cells, and together they make up the sieve tubes. Now, how is phloem unlike xylem? Remember, in phloem, materials can move in both directions. In xylem, it was unidirectional. Water was carried from the roots to the leaves in the single vertically in one direction, but in phloem, the materials can move in both the directions. Now, what is the purpose of the phloem? Phloem transport food from leaves to other parts of the plant. So, when the xylem carries the water and the minerals to the leaves with the help of photosynthesis prepare the food. And that food is carried to different parts of the plant. Why the food is carried? Like I said before, food is stored in different parts of the plant, and when the food is oxidized, it releases energy. So different parts of the plant are doing different metabolic activities for which they need energy. And energy comes from the food prepared by the plant. But the food is prepared in the leaves, so it has to be transported to all the parts of the plant, which is done by the phloem. Now, the phloem fibers are ones which provide support and the remaining cells are living. Means the sieve tubes, the companion cells and phloem fibers, they all are living cells. So they will use energy to do this type of work. So xylem and phloem are both vascular bundle, or they are called conducting tissues. The xylem conducts water and minerals from the root to the leaves. The phloem conducts food from the leaves to all the different parts of the plant. Now the question arises, in the plant where is the xylem and the phloem? So if you see any plant, any tree, it has got a big stem, big long stem, in the roots also. Okay? So in the stem, we have got first the hard part outside called the bark or the covering. Inside the bark we have in the round shape is the xylem, and right in the center, along very in the center, is the phloem. So if you look at the tree trunk, suppose you talk about your pencil, compare the tree trunk to a pencil, then the graphite lead inside the black color lead is the phloem. The right in the center, the black color lead is the phloem. Surrounding the graphite is the wood that you can call the xylem, and outside the paint is called that you can call the covering. So if you compare your pencil with the stem, then the inside black part is the phloem, the outside wood is the xylem, and the paint outside is the covering. In the same way in the plant, in the very center is the phloem and the xylem is on the outside. So what does the xylem do? It carries, so they don't mix with each other. The xylem is constantly carrying water and minerals from the roots to different parts of, to the leaves, and the food prepared by the leaves is carried by the phloem to different parts of the plant. So now we'll wind up the whole plant tissue. We saw in the plant tissue there was meristematic tissue and permanent. Meristematic is simple tissue, means made only of one kind of cell. Permanent is simple, complex and specialized. Yes, meristematic has to do only one kind of function. This is simple also, permanent tissue. Some of them are complex like xylem and phloem, and even specialized. Now in the meristematic tissue, the component cells are small, spherical, polygonal and undifferentiated. Here they are differentiated with different shapes. Intercellular spaces are absent in meristematic tissue. They are present in permanent tissue, but they are filled with suberin or lignin or pectin. Here cells grow and divide regularly, so it is called dividing meristematic. Cells do not divide. They are metabolically active, means they do a lot of metabolic activities. Here they do metabolism, but the rate is slow. And this provides growth to the plant, while this provides protection, support, conduction, photosynthesis and storage. So these are the main differences between meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. So this is the final chart for the tissues. See the division. The plant tissue is divided into meristematic tissue and permanent tissue. Meristematic tissue means living cells which keep on dividing. Permanent, they are not living, but some of them are living but they do not divide. Now based on the position in the plant, the meristematic are at apical, intercalary and lateral, and based on the origin there is promeristem or primordial, primary and secondary, which you have not done, but this is only a chart for you to see. In the permanent tissue we have protective tissue, that is the epidermis and the corp, the supporting tissue which is parenchyma, parenchyma and sclerenchyma, and the conductive tissue which is the xylem and the phloem, which is complex tissue because it is made up of different types of cells. So if you remember the chart and the property of each and every one here, then you will understand plant tissues in detail. So after we have done the plant tissues, now we move on to the animal tissues. Now animals are much more complex than the plant. Every organ in the animal does a specific function which is different from the other organs. If we talk of humans, the human stomach does something else, the kidney has got a different purpose, the heart has got a different purpose, the lung has got a different purpose. But all these organs have something in common. Yes? So that common functions are the tissues which are almost same throughout all the organs. But the tissue will depend upon the type of organ. So in animal tissues there are four main type of tissues: the epithelial tissue, the connective tissue, the muscular tissue and the nervous tissue. Epithelial means covering, so it is a covering tissue. Connective tissue is one which connects, carries things from one place to another like blood. Muscular tissues, all the animals do movement, and for the movement there are muscles, but the muscular tissue has to coordinate or the muscles to move properly, and the nervous tissue is one which carries the signals throughout the whole body, working of the brain. So animal tissues are much more complex than plant tissues, but now we'll see into detail the epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscular tissue and nervous tissue. So we begin with the epithelial tissue. Now what is epithelium mean? The covering or protective tissue. So it's a covering tissue which protects the organ. The covering or protective tissue in the animal body is called epithelial tissue. So what does epithelium tissue do? Covers most organs from the outside, and if the organ is hollow, then it also covers the cavity within. So mostly the organs are hollow organs. Hollow organ means it has a covering on the outside wall also and a covering in the inner wall also. So what does this covering do? It forms a barrier to keep different body systems separate. For example, the skin, the lining of the mouth, the lining of blood vessels. Now the lining of the mouth and the lining of blood vessels are made up of different types of covering. The lung alveoli and kidney tubules are made up of epithelial tissue. So every covering in every organ from the outside and from the inside both is made up of a covering tissue called the epithelial tissue. Epithelial tissue cells are tightly packed and form a continuous sheet. So the covering outside is also for protective reasons. So because of that, they do not have any spaces between them. It's a tight continuous sheet which can also provide protection and stability. It does not tear easily. Now, they are tightly packed, but they have a small amount of cementing material between them, and they have almost no intercellular spaces. There are no spaces at all. It is tightly packed. Now, even though it has got no spaces, there is still permeability. Means it allows materials to go in and come out. There is permeability. The permeability of the cells of various epithelia play an important role. What does the permeability do? It decides which material will go in and which materials will come out. So it results in the regulating the exchange of materials. It checks which material between the body and the external environment. So it has to be very careful. It cannot allow all the materials to come in. Only materials which are useful to the body are allowed to come in. So that decision is taken by the epithelial tissue. So it is a living tissue, we can say, which has got a decision making capability. Now all these tissues, the epithelium is separated from the underlying tissue, means the organ is made up of many different tissues. The outer and the inner covering is the epithelial tissue, but even the outer covering, that tissue is separated from the inner tissue by extracellular fibrous basement membrane. So between the outer covering and the inner tissue there is a membrane which separates both the tissues. So remember, epithelial tissue is mostly a covering tissue, covering the organ from the outside as well as the walls from the inside for the hollow organs. Now we'll see the different types of epithelial tissue. So the covering is different according to the organ, according to the function the organ has to perform. So we have the squamous epithelium, the cuboidal epithelium, the columnar epithelium and the stratified epithelium. Now first look at the squamous epithelium. Where is it found? In the lining of the blood vessels and the alveoli of the lung. This covering has got squamous epithelium. Here transportation takes place through a selectively permeable surface. So in the blood vessels, you know what happens. The oxygen and the carbon dioxide is exchanged. So it is a selectively permeable surface. It is found in lining of blood vessels and lung alveoli. Alveoli, what happens? The body takes in oxygen and gives out carbon dioxide. So permeable means oxygen is allowed to come in, carbon dioxide is to go out. That is done by diffusion, which we did in the previous chapters. So this is a simple flat kind of epithelium. The squamous is very flat, you can see. This epithelial cells are very thin and form a very delicate lining. So you can see this epithelium is made up of different cells. Look in the diagram, these different cells, you can see these cells are having different shape, but they are packed together to form a tissue, the epithelial tissue, the squamous epithelium. Even the esophagus, that is the food pipe, and the lining of the mouth are covered with squamous epithelium. The skin which protects the body is also made up of squamous epithelium. So squamous epithelium is found on the skin, esophagus, lining of the mouth, lining of blood vessels and lung alveoli. The cells are very tightly packed, but it is a selectively permeable surface. So this flat surface, flat tissues are called squamous epithelium. Then we have cuboidal. Cuboidal means cube shaped or cuboid shape. They are either cube shaped or long cuboid shape. It forms the lining of the kidney tubules and the ducts of salivary glands. So what does duct mean? The ducts secrete an enzyme called amylase. Now this epithelium provides mechanical support. So kidney tubules and duct of salivary glands have cuboidal epithelium for the mechanical support. Now like I told you, this cuboidal epithelium also sometimes have specialized gland cells. Gland cell means which secrete substances. I just told you the salivary glands secrete amylase, saliva which contains amylase. Okay? So sometimes the portion of the epithelial tissue folds inward. When it folds inward, then it forms a multicellular gland. So this is a glandular epithelium. So what we have understood, epithelium is a covering. But sometimes this covering also secretes some enzymes. For example, in the stomach, the inner wall of the stomach secretes mucus, dilute HCl and gastric juices. So that epithelium is also called glandular epithelium, which is a covering, but this covering also secretes different enzymes. So it is called glandular epithelium. The next one is columnar epithelium. They are long columns. Now this is mainly found where absorption and secretion occur. For example, where in the inner lining of the intestine, yes, food is absorbed in the blood over here. In the inner lining of the intestine, the food mixes with the blood. So here tall epithelial tissues are present. This is for absorption. Columnar means pillar-like, so it facilitates movement across the epithelial barrier. So it is for the movement in the respiratory tract. The windpipe, the epithelial tissue also has got cilia. Cilia means small hair-like structures which move along. These are the small hair-like structures on the top makes the material to move. Okay, they are hair-like projections. So the cilia can move, means in its own place the cilia will sway in its own place front and back, and the movement pushes the mucus forward to clear it. So when we throw out the mucus from our lungs, it is moved by the cilia. From the lungs we take a deep breath and cough outside, and the cilia moves the mucus to clear it. So this is the ciliated columnar epithelium. So columnar epithelium is mostly for absorption and secretion, but for movement it has got hair-like structures called the cilia which help the materials to move. So it is called ciliated columnar epithelium. So again I repeat, epithelium is mostly about covering, but the different types of covering perform different types of function. Squamous is one which is very fixed, yes, hard covering, but we have got ciliated which hair-like structures which move things. We have got this columnar for absorption and glandular which secrete the enzymes. Then we have the stratified epithelium. So what does the word stratified mean? Strata means layers. So there is a pattern of layers. You can see there is the different cells of layers. Some cells are thick, some are long, some are flat. So different types of cells with pattern of layers is called a stratified squamous epithelium. So this is squamous epithelium. Yes, it is flat and very rigid but with different layers. So it is called stratified. Strata means layers. So it is stratified squamous epithelium. Now what is the function of this? A very special function is to prevent wear and tear. So we have got a skin and we wear clothes, some rough, or we usually collide while walking or whatever, then it doesn't get damaged easily to prevent wear and tear. But sometimes we get hurt with high force, then the skin can peel off or we may get a wound. But for normal like activities, these cells are very strong and they prevent wear and tear. So the pattern of layers, so the skin has got also multi-layer. Sometimes you scratch yourself and only the top layer is damaged. But sometimes the damage can be deep also. So that is done by the stratified epithelium. So now we have this one table where the simple squamous epithelium and all the things are mentioned. We'll just go through it once. So what we have done today, we have done xylem and phloem in the plant tissue that was finished. Then we move to animal tissues. In animals, the first tissue we have done is the epithelial tissue, means the covering tissue. The whole organism has got a cover. So the covering is there, like human has got skin on the outside of the body, that is one covering, but inside the organs have also got a covering from the outside and the inside, and different organs perform different functions. So the covering is made up of different types of cells. The simple squamous epithelium, the first we did, the flat one, thin and flat, where we find it, lining of blood vessels, lung alveoli, esophagus, lining of mouth and cheek. What is the function? Transport is the main function, but through a selectively permeable membrane. Means selectively means only some materials are allowed to be transferred. Then we have got the stratified squamous. After the simple squamous, the stratified. Strata means having different layers. So cells arranged in pattern of layers, protecting, covering all over the body surface. The main function is protective. It provides protection to the soft tissues lying on the inside. Then we have the columnar epithelium. Column means, you know what are columns? Long, broad, standing structures. They are cylindrical like pillars. It is for the inner lining of stomach and intestine, and the main function is absorption of nutrients from the digestive food. Then in the columnar we also have the ciliated columnar. The columnar which has got cilia, hair-like projections. This is the inner lining of trachea, lungs and respiratory system, and buccal chambers. Buccal means near the throat. That is to push out some material from the inside. What does it do? The movement of cilia pushes the mucus forward to clear it. Then the cuboidal epithelium, the cells are cube shaped and placed on the basement membrane. There is a basement membrane which is blue color. The cells are placed on the blue color. This is found in the where do you find it? We find it in the lining of the kidney tubules and the salivary glands. It also helps in the absorption of useful material from urine. So it is reabsorption. What do they do? And the glandular epithelium, it folds inwards to form a multicellular gland. Means there is a complex fold which makes a gland. It is present in the stomach, the intestine and the pancreas. Glandular means secreting. So the main function is synthesis and secretion at the epithelial surface. So here we are going to end the first part of the animal tissues, the epithelial tissues, the covering tissues, and we have discussed all the different types of epithelial tissue based on the function that they do. So this is the tissues. Again, what are tissues? A group of cells with a common origin and a common function. But like I said, the animal is a much complex. Animal is much more complex than the plants. Different organs performing different functions. The multicellular organisms like humans and tigers, lions have got a very complex system with many organs in the body. But all of them have got a covering on the inside and the outside, which is altered by the epithelial tissue. So based on the different types of functions, we have got different types of epithelial tissue, and this table discusses the characteristics, the location and the function of the different tissues. Okay, so this is the first part. Now we are going to do connective tissue, muscular tissue and nervous tissue in the succeeding lectures. So kindly revise this for today. I am going to end the lecture here. Thank you.